Hello, I'm going to be continuing my look at Nashville and Memphis. So, looking at the teams in Tennessee, taking a look at the Nashville Predators today. For previous viewers, you're going to notice I have freshly shaved, got no beard, and that's because I think for the first time in a long time, fans of the Nashville Predators will have the opportunity to grow their playoff beards this upcoming season. So, that's why I've shaved mine off. When the playoffs roll around for hockey, I'll start growing it back a little bit. Maybe before that, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Kind of feel a little weird without the beard on, but that's why I've shaved it off, because for the fans in Nashville, for the first time in a while, you're going to have the opportunity to grow your playoff beards. So congratulations on that. Looking at the team right now, they're first in the league, which I don't think anybody saw coming this year. They got a 41-13-7 record, so 89 points. Getting to 90 points before the end of the month should be easy for them to do, and that's really impressive to get to 90 points before the end of February. They're easily going to have 100, probably 110 plus point season, which is fantastic. Looking at their division, they're leading the Central Division by 9 points over the Blues, who are another Stanley Cup contending team. I think they're in St. Louis, but they got a 9-point lead on the Blues there. So, like I said, they're leading the league currently. They got the best record in the league, so obviously they're going to be leading their division with the Blues 9 points behind them in that division there. Looking overall at their team, you got a lot of great young players. Filip Forsberg, he's 24th in the league in points, 21 goals, 31 assists. So he's already up to 52 points, and he's got a plus 21, which is really, really good. He was drafted 11th overall in 2012, so still a very young guy, a great guy to build your team around, because he was only born in 94 and just drafted a couple seasons ago. So clearly a guy you can build around, and like I said, he's already in the top 30 in the league. 24th overall in points. Looking at a plus 21, just to kind of elaborate on what that is, that's how many goals differential that your team has when you're on the ice. So that means that the Predators have scored 21 more goals than they've had against them when he's on the ice. So, for example, if a player has a minus 10 rating behind their name, that means that the team has had 10 goals scored against them when he was on the ice, kind of thing. So hopefully I've explained that well those of you who are kind of curious what the plus 21 and why does that rating really matter. Well, it's important because it means they're scoring while he's on the ice and they're not getting scored on when he's on the ice, so that's a good thing to look at. 27th in the league in points, obviously Mike Ribeiro, a nice veteran guy to have on your team, so you're balancing off your young kid there in Forsberg with Mike Ribeiro, who's only a few spots behind him in the league points overall. 12 goals, 39 assists. So he's got 51 points right there, and he's got a plus 17 rating, so that's good for him as well. And then 30th overall in goals, just in goals, not in points, but 30th overall in goals, you have James Neal, so 21 goals, 13 assists, so he's got 34 points and a plus 20 rating as well. So you got a lot of guys there that have been playing well for the team and doing well for the team, but the success of an NHL team does rely heavily on the success of your goalie. So clearly Pecorine has been playing marvelous for the Predators this year. He's second in the league in goals against average, just 2.01, second in the league in save percentage at .930, and he's obviously first in the league with 35 wins. So he's been doing fantastically well for the Predators this year. Gonna be a finalist for the I forget what trophy goes to the best goalie in the league. I apologize for that, but he's definitely going to be a finalist for that and could potentially win it if they keep going on the path they're going on. Again, I apologize to forget the name of that. There's so many different awards that are given out in hockey that I can never keep them straight. So he's definitely going to be in the running though for the best goalie in the league for sure. Other players you can look at the team: Seth Jones, good young kid, just drafted in 2013. Again, just born in 94. He was the 11th overall pick, I believe, or I could be wrong with that. So let me grab my notes here. He was 4th overall, in the 2013 draft. So again, another young kid, just born in 94. You also got Ryan Ellis on your defense. You just drafted him 11th overall in 09. So he was also just born in 91. So there's 2 young defensemen right there that you can clearly build around and continue to grow with. When your team struggles for a lot of years, like the Predators have and did, you do get a lot of high draft picks. And if your scouting is doing their job properly, you can find the talent. And if you wait a few years, let these players develop and grow, you're going to have guys who are going to be top in the league in certain stats. Like I said, Forsberg, you just drafted a couple years ago. He's already got 21 goals, 31 assists, so he could easily have a 30-goal, 40-assist season, which is great for a kid that you just drafted a couple years ago. Again, Seth Jones is a defenseman, drafted 4th overall in 2013. He's got a plus 10 rating. Ryan Ellis got a plus 12 rating, so that's good. You want your defenseman to have plus ratings for sure. If they're having minus ratings, that means that they're not doing their very good job on defense. So again, Ryan Ellis, you drafted 11th overall in '09. So you had the 11th overall pick for a couple years there. In '09, you had it and drafted Ryan Ellis. In 2012, you had it and you drafted Philip Forsberg. So clearly you drafted some good young kids. Seth Jones, like I said, just in 2013. So you got some young kids that you can develop and keep running with. And then you got these veterans like Mike Ribeiro and James Neal who are putting in their work and contributing very well to your team. So that's what I think a team needs in order to sustain its ability to win a lot of games and make a good playoff push and make the playoffs, is that you have good young talent coupled with good veteran talent and guys that they can learn from and can show them the ropes kind of thing, and also continue to contribute to their team. So, like I said, you got Forsberg, 52 points, Ribeiro, 51 points, James Neal's got 34 points. So you get all these guys that are definitely going to be contributing to your team for years to come, especially when you look at Forsberg. As a forward, he's going to be contributing to your team for years to come. Ribeiro was drafted in '98, so he's been playing in the league for a while now. Who knows how many more years he has left in him, but in the pace he's going, I'd want him on my team for another 5 years if he can keep this up with the stats he's putting out. And again, a great guy that the young kids can learn from. So we'll see what happens with that there, with what happens with their veterans. Clearly a big veteran, gets talked about a lot, Mike Fisher. He's doing well for the team as well. 13 goals, 17 assists, 30 points. He's been out for a few games with some injuries here and there. He's got a plus 12 rating as well, so that's good. You got a lot, like I said, I haven't mentioned a single player who's had a rating under plus 10. So that means you're winning a lot of games. And clearly if you're first in the league, you're not losing a lot of games, and you're probably not going to have many players that have minus ratings on your team at all. So that's good. Like I said, overall with their roster, they got a good roster with some young kids that can learn from the veterans. And for the few years that they had some rough seasons and didn't produce that well, they did get those high draft picks, which are now starting to materialize and produce through their team. And with the Predators right now first in the league, they're a force to be reckoned with, especially with Pekka Rinne between the pipes as your goalie. He's not letting in too many goals, and your guys are finding ways to get the puck into the net. So the Predators, I think, are going to continue to win games. A big win last night against the Avalanche, 5-2. So that's a big win for them there, to continue momentum. The Blues are a team right behind them. I know they're 9 points behind them, but 3 or 4 game swing right there. If you look at it, let's say over a 10-game span, the Blues go 7-3, and the Predators go 5-5. Well, now they're pretty close. So it's those little things that you got to watch for, and make sure that you can maintain your momentum and keep a lock on your first place overall in the league, first in your division. Like I said, the Blues are 9 points behind them and could easily catch them. So I think as long as Rinne continues to play the way he has between the net, and your guys continue to score your 3 goals a night, they're going to win a lot of games. Like I said, Rinne only has a 2.01 goals against average, so he's only letting in 2 goals a night on average. So if he can score 3, you're going to win all of your games if he continues to do that. Obviously, there are nights that Rinne could give up 3 or 4 goals, or like no goalie's perfect. Just like in baseball, no all-star pitcher is going to be able to go out there every time and produce a perfect game. The same thing with goalies in net. Rinne's going to have his off nights. That's expected. But the way he's been playing, that's going to be a very few and far between sight to see. You got to watch their games that they're playing against teams that are very competitive with them. So if they're playing teams in the East like the Canadiens, you're going to want to keep an eye on them, because right now that could be a potential Stanley Cup final, is the Canadiens versus the Predators. Especially looking at these, like I said, look at the Canadiens. You want to see how they perform against teams that are just as good as they are, or at least as competitive and a high caliber talent rate as they are. So when they play the Blues, are they winning those games? Winning games against Colorado, that's good, but you're expected to win those games. If you lose those games, that's one that slipped away from you. So look at how you do against the teams that are in the top 4 of your division and your conference in the top 4 in the East as well, and see how they play against those, because that's going to determine whether or not they can make a playoff push. Is how well do you compete against teams that are just as talented and just as skilled as you are. So congrats to the Predators so far this season. I don't think anybody saw this coming. I know the whole state of Tennessee is having a great year so far with sports. You got Memphis, who's dominating the NBA. Predators are clearly dominating right now in the NHL. Titans, obviously, who I'll be talking about lastly for this week of my look at the teams in Tennessee. They got a lot to work on. They got the second overall pick. What are they going to do with that? But like I said, today talking about the Predators, had a great season so far. Hopefully they can keep it up for the second half and the last bit of this season. They can have a good playoff push. So again, congratulations to you guys, and look forward to my last post this week with Tennessee teams when I talk about the Titans of the NFL. Thanks again. Bye.